Within 8 months, we married, we split, I backslid, I left the church, I lived in my car, and then I came into Teen Challenge at the end. I grew up in an alcoholic home, and my dad was such a raging alcoholic that in the last years of his life, he was a homeless man on the streets of Bakersfield. My dad would drink away every single penny we had, so we were quite poor growing up, living without electricity and having ketchup sandwiches, and many of those things, that impacted me in life. And I remember at the age of 10 thinking, yep, I made that decision at that age that I was gonna be doing something, and it was gonna be drinking alcohol, drugs. I just made that decision. So I did it. One thing though that I did get involved with was just unhealthy relationships with men and guys. That really hit me in places and really identified just the pain that I had for not having a dad. I didn't even have a time or a place to heal after he died, and we're talking my entire life. Those first 14 years, he was sick. And then when he died, there was no place for me to grieve, and I just took off and did my own thing. There was still that peace in my heart that just did not get touched, because I had such a hard time figuring out God as my father, because there wasn't a point of reference up until that point. And here comes blue eyes and blue jeans into the church. It didn't take long to find that he was an addict and he was using the whole time. And that day before Teen Challenge, I was completely methed out, living in my car. I decided, you know what? I just want to end my life. I was starting to pray again towards the end of those 8 months, those last few weeks. God, just take me home. And when I meant that, I meant for God to just take me home to heaven. I did not want to be on this planet anymore. So I get in my car. My car had a 1/16 of a tank of gas, and I didn't realize it, but I'm on the road. And I realized as I was driving, hey, I shouldn't be on this road because I don't have the gas to be doing this. And as I was driving, I thought, okay, this is a miracle, and this is the moment where God's gonna take me home. So I started on a curve. I lifted my hands thinking, this is it, I'm gonna roll. My hands stayed in the air. My car stayed on the road. I completed the curve. After that, I put my hands back on the wheel, and I thought, okay, God, you didn't take me then. The next morning, a friend of mine who had been searching for me for a very long time found me and brought me into Teen Challenge. In Teen Challenge, my dreams and my visions began to come back, and they started to just burst out of my life. And I was probably one of those annoying students that just held on to, I just know what God has for me, and I held on like a bulldog. After Bible school, the Lord called me to missions. In fact, the Lord spoke to me about my mission in the halls of Teen Challenge. I knew I was called to missions. I would pray over my passport. So I've been able to go now and serve as a full-time missionary. And I can tell you, with all these years later, there's not one thing that the Lord hasn't fulfilled in my life that He promised me in the halls of Teen Challenge.